The LCU Wildcats make it 2 wins in a row with a big 66-12 win on the road at Arkansas Baptist. Next up, last game of the season against number 7 Texas Wesleyan. Welcome to our Cat Chat with LCU football coach Ben McLaughlin. I'm Al Quartemont, and Coach, good to have you with us here today, and nice to get that second win in a row.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, in college football and any level of football, winning football games is difficult, and so we were probably favored to win the game, but anytime you travel on the road, it's raining, so many elements there, so super proud of our guys to take care of business and do what they needed to do to get that win.
From a statistical standpoint, you completely dominated this game. 357 yards rushing to just 47 for them. Overall offense, 484 to 254. As you look back on this game, was it one of those games, or was it maybe the first game you've had where you feel like from start to finish you played a complete game? Yeah,
we did, and special teams made some splash plays, so it definitely it was a fun game to coach on the sideline. Now, don't make no doubt about it. What I told our guys from the beginning is you can see some of their scores and you see some, they've lost some games, but when you go watch the film, you have to make plays against them, and so it's not like they just got out of the way and let us walk into the end zone. And we had some guys that actually went out and made big plays on third downs. I think all 3 of our Rivers touchdown passes were on third down, and so big third down conversions that we were able to make, and defense was able to. And they got some really talented skill guys, and so it was very proud of our guys of how they performed for sure.
Yeah, River ended up throwing for 115 yards, 3 touchdowns, as you mentioned, 2 of those going to Ethan Chrisman, and those 2 have really developed a good connection.
Yeah, Ethan's been a consistent player for this program for his entire career. Has been, probably a guy that maybe you overlook because of, his size or everything else, but when you look at his production over the last 3 years, he's one of the most productive guys we've had here in a while, and so he's always dependable, super smart, understands defenses, and he's deceptively fast. I mean, I don't want to even. He makes plays when the ball's in his hands, and so he's had a great career, and hopefully he can have one more stellar game to help us get a big upset on Saturday.
And from a running standpoint, Dalen Charles, 14 carries, 136 yards, 2 more touchdowns. He's over 1,000 yards for the year, 16 touchdowns on the year. He's really had a great senior season.
He has, yeah, he has. And that's all. That what makes that even more impressive is that we've got 2 other backs that have quite a bit of carries, and so he's sharing the load, and then also getting over 1,000 yards is really an impressive feat, and he's gotten stronger, and been excited to see him in his last year, and like I said with Ethan, we're going to need him to have his best game here on Saturday, and I know he's ready for it.
Your team had some tough losses earlier in the year, but you've bounced back nicely, getting these 2 wins in a row. What do you feel like that says about the character of this team?
It's a lot. When you go back and reflect, I mean, I'm just looking around the nation. You look at teams like Miami, Florida, and they were 9-0 and they lost a close game, but they won 3 close possession games, and so their record could easily be flipped based off 1 or 2 plays, and that's just how football goes. And so I would be nervous if we were sitting here getting blown out of every one of these games. Like, we're not a long ways away. Last year we won the 1 possession games, and this year we haven't. And so what I love about it is what I told the seniors of the legacy that they're leaving is how you handle adversity. And I thought the last 2 weeks they've done a great job of leading us in some of these waters when they could have quit, they could have went on, and they kept persevering, and allowed us to get 2 good road wins in a row. And so been really proud of these guys. It's going to help us propel forward in the next year.
So you've got the big game coming up on Saturday, Texas Wesleyan, number 7. We know what happened last year.
Yeah.
The Wildcats scoring 24 points in the 4th quarter to win that game and win the conference championship. These guys come in with an outstanding record, 9-0, as I mentioned, number 7. So what are your words to your team for this week?
In college football, the difference of talent between a team that's 4-6 and or 3-6 and a team that is what their record is very minuscule. The team with the best record doesn't show up and win the game. That's what we love about this sport. It's the team that plays the best on that day, and all we have to do is make sure we play our best on that day. And if we do that, we have a chance to beat anybody that we play in our conference or in the nation. And so I've just been preaching that to our guys and trying to get them to believe that. And last year they went on the road and they beat a team that they probably were not favored to beat last year as well. And they had a couple big special teams plays. And to beat a team that's good like Texas Wesleyan, you've got to obviously do everything the right way, but you've got to make plays and you've got to have the ball bounced the right way. And so I told our guys, but to get that, you've got to be in position. And to be in position, you've got to be doing all the right things. And so all the little things. And so it's the same message we're preaching, that when we play a team that has a losing record for this one, it's all about us. And if we can show up and do what we need to do, we're going to be in position to have success in the second half.
And you'll be honoring your seniors on Senior Day, 19 of them. And I was just looking at some of those names. You're talking about a Brimmer, a Mitchell, McGee, Chrisman, Feaster, Charles, Jackson, Randall, Young, Toriak. You're losing some big names.
Yep. And it's, you know, we read the list off from last year's seniors as well. That's what, when I took this job, I said, you know, we're losing a really good class coming into this year. But then after this year, we were going to lose the other. And those two classes together, when you could see why we had such a special season last season. And so our roster, when these guys leave, it's very bare. We've got a lot of young guys, and our middle, we don't have a lot of guys as sophomores or juniors. And so, but, you know, that's one thing that you know, when recruiting and with the transfer portal, and you can get some of those things fixed early, but it's definitely not going to be easy to replace those guys. They've done, and I've told them, I know they're disappointed in the win-loss record this year, but the legacy that they are leaving is in stone. The legacy that they've had this season didn't teeter that either way, and honestly, what they've done this last half of this season, honestly, makes what their story even that much sweeter for how they've persevered. And so they're an outstanding class. I've enjoyed having them for my first year, and looking forward to seeing them have success for the rest of their life.
Yeah, and you'll honor them before the game.
Correct. Yes. 1:30 on Saturday, we'll start those senior ceremonies, and then we'll kick it off at 2.
Sounds good. Again, Texas Wesleyan in town to take on the Wildcats, 2 o'clock at Wildcats Stadium on Senior Day. And Coach, we'll do a wrap-up show coming up next week, but it's been great, and we've enjoyed doing the show this year.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having us, and all the professional work that you and Mr. Jeff do. It means a lot, and it really puts our program out there in a good light, so we appreciate it.
All right, that's our Cat Chat for today. We'll talk with you again next week. Thanks for watching.